Generals. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and yeah, Total Tank Generals is finally released on Steam. A little while ago, we took our first look at this game, featuring both the American, the Soviet, and the German campaigns that spanned the war in Europe, and today we're going to take a little bit more of a definite look at the German campaign, spanning from the earlier years of the war all the way up till the end. Well, check the description down below where today's episode is sponsored by the makers of Total Tank Generals, and get the game today for yourself if you'd like to. Available now pretty much anywhere games are sold, I suppose, for PC. But this game features a campaign, as I mentioned, for the Germans, early war all the way to late war, the Soviets from Barbarossa all the way to the fall of Berlin, and for the Americans featuring North Africa, and then, of course, all the way up to D-Day and the invasions towards the east into Germany. Now, this game also features a single scenario kind of separate campaigns or more separate missions that feature the British and a few other nations as well. So there's certainly a lot of complexity to this game, and I've noticed that in the splash screen here, the units being featured are the Germans because that's the last time that I played this as the Germans, and so every time you start it up, there's like a different cutscene, almost like a museum, which I love as an added touch for those of you who love vehicles and weapons of World War II, for all the factions that I mentioned previously for their campaigns. There's also a great backstory for all the different generals too, so going to the scenario section, you can see that we play through Anzio, and I believe, yeah, some stuff in the Ardennes. There's also mods and custom missions that you can download from the, well, there's a scenario editor, so obviously through the Steam store page, or rather the workshop, and of course a custom campaign that's made by the devs that of course features all three generals, Patton, Rommel, and Zhukov, and then gives a little bit of a backstory about them, so each of them kind of showing how they became a field marshal or a general or whatnot, and then basically their role in the Second World War. Alright, well, we're going to watch Erwin Rommel's intro, and then we'll get started with the campaign in France starting in 1940. Let's go.
Erwin Rommel, one of the most famous German marshals of World War II. Charismatic risk-taker, an undisputed master of blitzkrieg, a cunning and sly commander respected by both his allies and his enemies. It may be hard to believe at first, but this born leader very nearly missed out on starting a military career altogether. Young Erwin exhibited technical abilities, which made him initially seek a career in the aviation design industry. As a teenager, he and his friends constructed a functional glider. He also disassembled and reassembled an entire motorcycle on his own. However, his below-average grades in school would prove to be an insurmountable obstacle. Rommel's father also urged his son to opt for a different career path. Rommel's creativity eventually found itself an outlet on the battlefield. When joining the military, Rommel couldn't boast a military heritage like some of his peers, but this shortcoming was more than made up for by his leadership skills and being able to think outside the box. His love for offensive action has shown itself as early as World War I. While commanding a battalion of a couple hundred soldiers in the Battle of Caporetto, he launched a surprise attack, taking nearly 9,000 soldiers and 150 officers prisoner. Soldiers under Rommel's command at the time used to say that the front line is where Rommel is. For his achievements, he received the highest German military decoration order, pour le mérite. In the interwar period, Rommel devoted his time to learning the art of war. His book, Infantry Attacks, became an international bestseller. Utilized heavily by other armies across the globe, it was also one of the favorite books of General George Patton. While Rommel never officially joined the ranks of the NSDAP, he supported its expansionist policies, actively partaking in their aggressive military operation. In 1939, during the German invasion of Poland, Rommel was responsible for the Chancellor's personal guard, which proves just how much the German leader trusted the general. Rommel's finest hour as a commander would come a year later during the German invasion of France.
And that is where we're going now. All right, starting in May 21st, 1940, the Battle of Arras, then going to the Siege of Lille. So it looks like the first two missions being the invasion of France, followed by what seems to mostly be North Africa. But again, remember with those custom campaigns in the Steam Workshop, it's very likely that we could have an invasion of Sweden, or perhaps the invasion of the Soviet Union with Erwin Rommel in different years with different tech, and create different scenarios, which would be quite cool. All right, let's get into the first mission, the first battle, the invasion of France in 1940. Let's go.
May 1940. Despite lacking experience in commanding tank units, Erwin Rommel was appointed as the commander of the 7th Panzer Division, with which he has managed to force his way through the Ardennes, a region thought to be impossible to traverse with armored units. This allowed him to circumvent the Maginot Line and continue his push to the west, eventually reaching the town of Arras. It was in this place that the Allies would commence their fiercest attack on the Germans yet. If the British can successfully join forces with the French, the German army will find themselves trapped. Your task is to not let that happen at any cost.
The Rommel campaign, the first mission, the Battle of Arras. So in this one we get additional accuracy and defense, as the Soviets and the Americans also get their own bonuses. For this, the Germans get an accuracy and defense boost for all of their units. That includes tanks and aircraft and whatnot. And of course, this game is a turn-based tactical strategy game where the more objectives that we take in the least amount of turns, the more points and money and unlocks that we get, free units basically for our next campaign, and that's a pretty damn good deal. So let's go ahead and try to take those objectives ASAP. First and foremost, that airfield there looks like a juicy target, so we'll capture that. There's also this bridge here, which is probably one of our first major objectives to connect the northern and southern flanks, and then of course a large city here. And then the Battle of Arras begins with, of course, a bridge going east to west, and also roads going north and south in all directions, as well as an airfield and a position where the enemy is likely having an HQ set up. So we'll have to go and pummel them. First things first, let's take a look at our forces. We got a Flak 88, we've got ourselves Panzer 3s, we've got Panzer 1s, and these forces too are a little bit mixed. So you might see, for example, a soldier with a mortar, but that just represents what's there for a full unit, whether it be a regiment or a brigade or a squad or whatnot. We're going to push all of our forces forward, considering that they might be a force of mixed forces, like for example recon traveling with perhaps AT. So even this small little 222 has the capability of killing a Churchill in future battles, that type of thing. All right, well, we see the enemies there. We have ourselves some armored cars and British forces that have locked down that crossing, so we're going to go ahead and have to push into that right away. Get our Panzer 3s here to block at the airfield. The enemy will likely counterattack now that we've captured that, so let's do that. And let's get our infantry to push to the west a little bit further. Oh, enemy spotted just across the way. Okay, enemy cavalry there. Go ahead and get an anti-aircraft gun at the airfield, so that way nothing can retake that. Now that we've captured the airfield, we have access to a dive bomber, so we can go ahead and pummel the hell out of that crossing. But I think we'll first start with that with our mortar and see if we can pummel the crossing right now and weaken them up. Beautiful. Oh, nice. Beautiful. Defenses are crumbling. Okay, let's bring up an AT gun if we can. Actually, we can hit them right here, right away. Beautiful. Causing massive damage to that enemy vehicle. Get the rest of our forces up there. Awesome. Pushing them right out of the zone. Oh, this might make their forces retreat. Oh, we're about to take the position. That's easier than I thought it would be, suspiciously. Of course, the enemy has a chance to counterattack, so don't get too excited just yet. We have another Schützen regiment here. These forces look like they're about ready to withdraw too. Black 88 artillery coming in, but hey, the enemy's retreated. Fantastic. We will now dig in with our forces. Well, we've captured our first objective on our first turn. How lucky for us. Now we just have to hold it. Let's put recon here to keep an eye on the western side. The enemy now will probably be pushing along this road to recapture the crossing and possibly the airfield from the west. We need to make sure we are ready. And we will bring up our AT then. A little closer. And we'll keep our mortar a little closer too if we can. Nope. Oh, we can bring our tanks down to support the defense now. And we can finish off the retreating British forces. can get another unit in there. Since we can only move one in there, I at least want two so we can hold the airfield. And I want our infantry to hold for any units that try to move across. So this is the defensive position for the airfield. We got plenty of tanks for the airfield too, which when the British come down, they'll only have 2 hexagons to attack before they get to the river. So this will be perfect targets for the Flak 88 and the 2 tanks that could engage infantry. That's more than likely to come from these positions here. And also that city will be a little less defended. We don't have any bombing targets at the moment that I want to use, so we'll use those in the next turn. Let's go ahead and end this one. British forces moving to the west under retreat, and British reinforcements arriving to give us hell. Already hitting us for a 3, and British infantry and cavalry spotted in the north. Oh, doing pretty good damage too. Oh, they're coming back with a vengeance. Oh, hitting hard, but also taking a hard hit. All right. Well, let's go ahead and finish that tank off if we can. Interesting. Dishing out more damage than they took. Excellent. British armor destroyed. Let's go ahead and continue to attack. Take out that cavalry if we can. Yeah, we'll keep moving that direction. And we've got targets out in the open now. Units here about ready to retreat. Oh, they're about ready to get out of there, I think. Will this unit fall back? Nice. Good to see our units pushing up so nicely. Pretty clean here on the battlefield so far. Go ahead and put our AT in the woods. And see if we can finish these guys off in the open. Not quite. Alright, well, some British armor dealt with. That's a good start. We got to push towards the city, and now we have access to a strategic bombing run, which would be great against these forces in front of us to get a little bit of pressure off of us, too. I don't want to fire back on that group just yet. Want to make sure we've given everybody their orders. Really don't want to shoot back at them, but we should try. Oh, this unit's got veteran. Oh, yes, that's right. When we gain veterancy, we can also level up these units to have extra bonuses. So we can make them motorized, for example, or they can ignore rivers, which means that they can easily cross them without a bridge. And we also have closed attacks. Oh. Let's see, they can dig trenches and worry about closed defense. So that's the level 1 bonus. That's good. And now this unit's been replenished. Do they get to attack again? They sure do. So as we get aggressive, our units may take losses, but if we use them correctly, we'll be reinforced. That's quite nice. Do the same here. And let's see if we can use our AT at all. Let's see, we have a small tank here. I can't believe those units have not retreated yet. Good. Progressing nicely, I'd say. Now we'll keep that unit there. Keep our Flak 88 where it is. And we could fire again? No. We'll stay where we're at. Right. So the previous times that I played this, I think it was just kind of more of a dabble, right? And this time now I'm thinking with a bit more of a strategic mind, not even at the battle at hand, but really like what the next battle could offer. So some of my moves might not be the greatest for the time being, but they could unintentionally help us later. I've had it oftentimes where just even a mistake, which you think might be bad at the time, could provide a big bonus. Like, for example, the bonuses down below for the different biomes and such too. So for us being in the forest and attacking the enemy out in the open, you can see all the bonuses for increased movements and entrenchment, whatnot at the bottom. If you're a big fan of games like, well, for example, Unity of Command and Unity of Command 2, this is certainly a good one that I think expands upon that in its combat, but scales back a little bit on the this whole supply system, although there is still the ability to encircle the enemy and cut off their forces and take them out that way in a much more like a decisive blow. All right, let's go ahead and go to our next turn again. There goes that resupply. Ooh, aircraft in position. Shooting down. Did it shoot down that enemy aircraft? Glad we had a Flak 88 there ready to go. Oh, cavalry sneaking up on the forces there. Oh, they also took out the Flak 88? No way. Oh, look at that. That one upgraded unit turned back 2 whole squads. Look at that. Beautiful. All right, well, we should also start advancing in the south, but we do need to take out these units here. Big hit for them. A level up here for our forces. Anti-tank training and anti-infantry training, so they're more effective against those. Beautiful. And another level up. Keep that infantry right there. They did a good job. Unfortunate about that flak, but it certainly was in the right spot to deal with aircraft that could have attempted to assist in recapture. Well, now that we got them on their back heels. Finish them with the mortar if we can. And the horses are turning tail and running. Damn, they upgraded. Unfortunate. Okay, let's see if we can reinforce this unit here. And move our tanks up as well. We also need to confirm some of these changes too for some of our tanks. It's not that they get bull sometimes. It's oh, we're gonna go with anti-infantry here. Is that sometimes we have to choose. We'll go with anti-tank and anti-infantry there. Those upgrades are wildly important. We can also switch our attack type. But for now, I think we're gonna keep as we are. And I'd like to get rid of those forces here. If this area is secure, we can push up the road a little bit more effectively. So let's try to dive bomb them. Left click. And they're retreating again. Need to make sure they're not in the range of any of our tanks. These guys can move. But we can do no more attacks. Alright, on to our next turn. Now, back into the woods again. Damn, that unit's holding nicely. Finish this unit off. And finish these units off too. I believe this is our anti-tank. This is our anti-infantry, I believe. Of course, taking our time to eliminate these units, though it takes us time, is definitely giving us veterancy for future operations. Sometimes saving lives now to get the veterancy, have them in a later battle, might save us quite a bit. Right, this unit with the resupply. Beautiful. Really starting to break. Give us a +4 this time. Oh, man. Yeah, after doing a rough run on this, I feel like I understand it a hell of a lot more. We made a lot of good progress on the map, too. We're about, well, we can at least see halfway across the map. Coming out of our little shell in the corner. What units should we push forward now? More tanks. Well, we tried. And we should be able to move down this way. I'm going to keep this tank up here, though. More enemy spotted, and lots of infantry out there. Not over yet. Not over yet. Wow, I can't believe they're not retreating. Yeah, we could also entrench, but I think we're all right. Next turn it is. Now, I think it's going to be quite difficult on the first run to fully understand all the aspects of the game and to get such a clean and like first try victory, which I think adds to the replayability of this game. Of course, learning enemy tactics and learning your capabilities, and then of course if you're playing as the Germans, you can then learn how to play as the if you're against the Americans or whatnot, then you can learn against the taking on the British, for example, a lot more effectively too. Or the, you know, if you're the Germans, you can learn to take on the British and then learn the British tactics by watching how the AI responds to things, that type of thing. Good way to do things. Hey, a medium bomber. Okay, not bad. Oh, that's great. Let's go hard attack here. Gonna try to get a full resupply for these units. Ah, but it makes them run. Good. Beautiful. Okay, let's reinforce this group and we'll keep moving our tanks. What do we have next? Slowly pushing them. They're very close to retreat again in the south. They're pushing very hard to hold us back. I'm really impressed with the amount of tank attacks they've been able to launch here. A good bombing run from the enemy. And that's why it'll be important to take that position. The airfield. Wow, enemy pushing back hard. Whoa. Oh no, mortars. Alright, we turn the tank around now. Infantry out in the open. Making one squad retreat. And the other. Good. Let's keep finishing these forces off here. If we can. And they're retreating. Oh, they're retreating towards Berlin. Okay. That'd be an advance, I'd say. Want to keep that airfield for ourselves, though, and not let the enemy get the strategic crossing too. All right, what could we use here for strategic support? We certainly could use another group of Panzer IIIs. Let's call them in the south. I'd advise against this, but at this point, we really need to push hard. So let's drive forward. This will make things a little bit more interesting anyway. Fresh tanks pushing forward. Good, they're very close to defeat. Let's see. Great. Alright, on to our next move. Imagine being a pro at this game and just pushing right through and anticipating the enemy's moves 3 or 4 moves ahead and preparing for it. Oh, they're trying so hard. Oh man, more tanks? You gotta be kidding me. Good thing we called more tanks to the south, huh? Push them back. Let this tank retreat. First try. All right. Good. Need to pull our unit out of there to resupply. Well, they're trying to slam us hard in the north. Unit's low on munition. We need to stop to resupply here. This one is too. Oh, nice. We captured those units. Perfect. Oh, and some prestige for that. Very nice. Make sure that unit can't chase us. Very nice. And now the battle has become more of attrition, at least, in terms of tanks. Cutting them off from the south. Wow, it's really good that we called in those tanks, man. Feels good to push up so hard here. Oh, but the units are retreating. I do like how a near miss does affect their morale, and it actually forces them to retreat. It means that if you're really pounding an enemy's position and not really able to do the damage that you were hoping and doing, it still can cause a lot of damage to the enemy morale, and then, of course, they could retreat from a position, which is kind of nice. Kind of nervous about those infantry in the south. Have these forces entrench. And hold the line. Oh, we're losing an infantry squad there. They've got such low morale, and they've been hit so many times that they're having trouble advancing. They've got a lot of forces to advance with 2 infantry squads deleted there. But it's time for a little payback. And an advance in the north. And enemy anti-tank spotted. Oh, I want to deselect this. I'm not sure how to do that. There we go. Alright, our units have arrived in the north there. Start making them retreat. Very nice. Bring that unit to the south. A hell of an intense fight, man. This is really cool. Oh, we're breaking through. Now we have an enemy AT gun there. We're going to have to try to hit that. So let's go ahead and see if we can hit it. Enemy units are in full retreat. And we've cleared them out of this area. We just need to push our tanks further to the west. Yep, more British infantry on the way. So with this tank here, they're going to try to recapture this with all the infantry there. I'm hoping they do, because then I'll hit them with double mortars and call that tank down. So we will lose that position briefly, but it's kind of more like we've have a feigned retreat where they're going to push into this position, and then we'll annihilate them. Essentially, there's really nothing else we have to do there, aside from hold the position from a distance. I guess we don't have to be in the position to have superiority over it. Almost like a no man's land. I think we're good here. Oh. Small tank group there destroyed. Challenge to break through there. Okay, we have our mortar unit. Oh, what the hell? I didn't expect them to retreat. Well, let's go with anti-infantry to finish these off. Alright, those are fine. Okay, the forces in the north. Boy, they got infantry sitting right next to our tanks. Let's reinforce that unit. Veterancy again. I've kind of saved on spending that bonus just to see what the enemy would attack with, and it seems to be equal parts tanks and infantry. They've sent a hell of a lot of these Royal Tank Regiments that I believe have these are... I believe those are Cromwells? I forget. No, they're Matildas. Been a while. Those are some mean tanks, man. Very heavily armored and... an okay gun, but the armor is what makes them tough. Literally. Alright, let's get replenished here before a big assault. So, north going great. South just absolutely pummeled on both sides. What the hell is that tank doing? Captured. What? They are behind two tanks. Okay. I guess they pushed forward through the tanks and then capture. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do this move where I bypass the entirety of France and then just go to London. And then all the allies have surrendered, including the United States, who's not even in the war yet. That's my maneuver. That's where I fight countries before they're in a war and make them lose before they knew they were involved. Total victory. You know, I think these forces, because they're behind us, might be cutting off supplies, so that is a new mechanic to learn that I haven't yet encountered. What else do we have for prestige? We got nothing else we can call out. These two tanks, I think, were the right choice. With the amount of tanks the enemy threw at us, The amount of vehicles that they had for infantry. Good call. But if we can capture this position, it'll be really good for us. This is for soft units now, I believe. There was, too. See if we can do enough damage with this southern unit to get veterancy, and then maybe boost them up to take care of these units in the south here that are causing problems. Even when we called in reinforcements, it was not enough reinforcements. Ooh, the enemy's retreating from the city. What? What? Those captures there come down to a mechanic we're going to have to learn, which is essentially the flanking, surrounding, supply, and a little bit more about morale. But that was a hell of a battle in the south. I can't wait to learn more about how to perform better there. Just by doing. Love it. And we have it. Now we have 300 new points. I think we'll call out German cavalry now. Take care of these units. Oh my god. So that unit, in the nick of time, just got an upgrade. Man, that can really save a unit. If you push them in there, and they really shouldn't go there, but if you're close to an upgrade, you can wedge your way in there, and then have your forces get everything that they need. Armored car, anti-tanks on the run. Alright, Arras is almost captured in the north. We're almost at the edge of the city. Look at the battlefield, too. I didn't realize there were so many craters where all the bombing and all the artillery have been going off. Gotta hand it to the AI, though, teaching me a new thing there with the flank attack in the south. I like that. We'll have to try to do something like that ourselves where we can push through that way. Interesting that the tank they haven't even tried to recapture that position there. I think they're more preoccupied with our tanks that are in the region rather than their own objectives. So obviously, yeah, we didn't have munitions there, so another capture. So again, that flank there, where somehow they were able to just push past and capture the artillery unit, was kind of the beginning of that, where it looks like you can push into enemy positions if you surround them, and 3 units are in the same hex, and one of them runs out of ammunition. You can start capturing units like that if you cut off their munitions. Here, it's a little more limited in our flanking ability, but still possible. Now, our supply could be coming from here, too, so it might have to be filtered there. But regardless, have the city in the north. Let's close in on the city and see what they've got. Wow, look at all those squads there. Man, in this one, in retrospect, defend in the south and attack in the north. I thought the north would be really the harder position to attack, but at this point, we're just having to chip away. Yeah, this group can resupply. So the supply and the resupply is coming from there in the north. Although we could still spawn units in the south, which implies that we have something here. We should be able to get those forces through. Anyway, let's do one more roll and see if we can capture the city. I just want to go straight for the heart, even if we're going to lose those units in the south. Our goal is to capture that city. But I still would prefer to... Oh, interesting. Paratroopers. What? Well, again, we've already captured London. We're now pushing on Tokyo, capturing that as well on the world map. We've now captured Pluto, which is the world headquarters for, or the global headquarters, universal headquarters for the universe, so we've captured that as well. I can make up rules too. Could have made those forces retreat anyway. We're very close to going into the city. Now hopefully they don't try to play the same game of circling behind us again. I'm going to save for bombing campaign. Somehow we missed, I guess. I'll have them move there and dig in. And we'll see if we can do it in the next move. See if we can pull off some sort of Hail Mary. Oh! Turn limit reached. Ah, a lot more challenging than it looks. That's for sure. First mission has really taught me a lot about this game, and I think Rommel is the perfect general to start with when you're learning the campaign, and going forward, I think I'm going to continue with the German campaign. I like it a lot, really. And yeah, so there's a lot of great turn-based games out there, and Total Tank General certainly qualifies as one that combines the art of warfare from the air, and from the land, and from the point of a general who values armored assaults. All right, thank you very much for watching today, guys. Remember, this game is out, so if you want to take a look at it for yourself, links is down below in the description, so check it out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all next time for more World War II games on the channel. Hell yeah, brother. Take care. Have a good day, afternoon, good evening, good night, and I'll see you when I see you. Goodbye.